So I want to get to y'all guys' president because he's had a week. Joe Biden is he's something else. He is something else. So the handlers always try to handle him extra because when he goes off script, he says usually stupid things, or he goes out there and says lies. He loves to lie. He can't control himself when it comes time to lying. That's our president. The guy who said he was arrested trying to go see Nelson Mandela. He lied. He lied. He's on record of saying a lot of things, but he's on record of lying. When he ran for president the first time, he lied about where he graduated in his rank in school. He just lied about his GPA, his degrees. He's a liar. It's habitual. What's in him? And this story, it was just funny to me because Joe Biden claimed his first job offer was from an Idaho lumber company. But the company said, So he went out there and he's in Idaho, was giving a speech. And, people always try to tell stories to relate to people in certain places. And he tried to do it in this instance. But in this instance, as Maury would say, that was a lie. He lied. That guy right there. So, says President Joe Biden did an event in Idaho Monday. So, of course, that means he made up some kind of connection to the state and got called out. And they need to keep Weekend at Biden's off the mic. They called him Weekend at Biden's. I don't know if you've seen Weekend at Bernie's when he's just lifeless. But they use Bernie to get things done for their weekend excitement. So, the article continues. For some reason, partly because the president stay lying, and partly because he's a life hyper during a wildlife focused event, Biden claimed that his first job offer came from a local lumber and wood products business, Boise Cascade. Is it Boise Cascade? But the company says it has no record of that being true. So he continues to go on and said it was a joke that he always cracked with the late Democratic Senator Frank Church. Said that was his joke to him all the time. But the company said, we don't know you. We have no record of President Biden's application or of him having worked for our company. Company spokesperson said, we checked our systems internally and nothing has turned up. So, of course, that's not a big thing. It's not a big thing. Why should it be a big thing? And we get into more of the lies.
Speaking of elite crimes, the one thing that Biden kind of was celebrated for in the withdrawal from Afghanistan was this drone strike that supposedly hit an ISIS-K target in retribution for their attack on our servicemen and women and innocent Afghan civilians. Well, there were, from the jump, a lot of questions about whether they really hit anyone related to ISIS. And very quickly, there started to be reports of large civilian casualties, at least 7 up to 10, including babies. I mean, little Afghan children. So the New York Times dug in and actually went on the ground and figured out who was it that our military, that in this drone strike was actually killed. And turns out, lo and behold, the supposed ISIS-K terrorist that they targeted was a 14-year employee of the Nutrition and Education International, a U.S. NGO that fights malnutrition. His name is Ahmadi. Let's throw this first tweet up on the screen. Evan Hill, phenomenal.
So the U.S. decided to do a drone strike after the attacks at the Kabul airport. And within doing this, they end up killing somebody who had nothing to do with terrorism. Not only that, he worked with an American NGO to work with malnutrition issues over there in Afghanistan. He was one of those people that you were supposed to uplift and help. And instead, you lied and killed his family. So let's get back to the story.
journalism here. Phenomenal journalism. Went to the house, spoke to the family, tracked the security cameras that watched Mr. Ahmadi over the day go to his job, distributing aid to poor people who were without food, picking up his colleagues, filling his car with water canisters that he could bring home to his family. And what Evan says here, the final act of the U.S. war in Afghanistan was a drone strike in Kabul that killed 10 people. And ultimately, our latest investigation shows how a man the military saw as a, quote, imminent threat and ISIS facilitator was actually an aid worker returning to his family. When he pulled his white Toyota Corolla into his family's courtyard, his children ran out to greet him and to jump into the car. That's when the drone strike hit, murdering him and children in his family and extended family. Here's some of the detail that the New York Times' Evan Hill was able to gather. Let's show this video, which shows, so the military claimed that he was picking up explosive material, loading his car down with explosive material. They even lied and said, we know that it was explosive material because there were secondary explosions that proved, and that's what really killed the civilians here. All complete lies. There were no secondary explosions. The civilians were directly killed, murdered by this drone strike. And you can see the security camera footage here that reveals Mr. Ahmadi loading his car with water to take to his home where they were facing a water shortage. Let's take a look at that.
At 2:35 p.m., Ahmadi pulls out a hose, and then he and a coworker fill empty containers with water. Earlier that morning, we saw Ahmadi bring these same empty plastic containers to the office.
And the military never would say who they hit.
Yes, they were just admitted, like ISIS-K.
They admitted to the New York Times they didn't even know who it was. But this drone tracked him for 8 hours as he went about his day, picking up his colleagues, going to his office. They described his office as an unknown compound, and it was really just an aid worker office. And so they follow him around, and then they killed this guy that they even admit they didn't even know who he was. It's such a crime, and unfortunately, so typical of what was done in Afghanistan and Iraq and throughout the region, year after year after year, president after president after president. And yet the thing they want Biden to resign for is his withdrawal from Afghanistan, not any of this.
You got to love that one. And this is the thing. This has been happening.
So yeah, like she said, you can do all the wrong in the world, and then they'll find some technicality to try to fake argue in politics about if you're right or if you're wrong on it. It's counterproductive because it gets us nowhere. We don't handle real issues. They lied. They lied. They lied. They lied. They lied. The same people we're supposed to trust with the science lies about other things. How many times are we going to find out lies? Why is the government continuously lying to us about things that we can fact check and verify? That does not put us in a safer position. That does not make us better as people if we continuously are in that position. Why does it keep happening? Why? It's just crazy in my and that we have a military who can just be this reckless. We have a military who can do whatever they want and there's no consequences. And the president has no consequences when he orders these things. When they get caught lying, there's no consequences. Why do we have all of this and no consequences for the people who need them? Certain people need them. The people in power need consequences. They need regulations. They need order. They need structure. They need people behind them to keep them from doing any of the bad shit that keeps on occurring. It's your boy DJTheParkBoy, and I'm here with a special product for you. I got some Delta 8 weed from JK Distro, and I'm saying it's amazing. It's clean, smokable, and the best part is they deliver it right to your door. Because of the 2018 Farm Bill, it's now legal for them to have Delta 8 weed sent through the mail. That's right. And if you use promo code FLOSS1, you can get some clean, smokable weed sent to your door direct. You have options. You go right there to jkdistro.com. You look at all the strands they have, which is a lot. You can even get you some edibles. You can get you some wine. Anything in between you can think of. You put in promo code FLOSS1, you're going to save you 20%. So go ahead, hop on that now. Make sure it's in the description.